Good afternoon, everybody. It is Monday something. Monday, June 5th, 2023, 2:15 p.m. So we got headlines today leading to significant weakness and volatility in the cryptocurrency space, and the headlines surround Binance and the SEC filing 13 charges against the entities and the founder. So, what does that mean? It means the market's reacting bearishly because it's looking at it and saying, uh-oh, the SEC is going after these exchanges. Is Coinbase going to be next? We already know Coinbase has issues with the SEC. And then that leads to weakness in the altcoin space where traders then say, well, if the SEC comes down on Coinbase and says you can't list a bunch of these coins, then that's going to significantly diminish the amount of volume and liquidity in those coins. And that would be bearish for crypto overall. So with that, it's a big red day out there. This is the crypto list here. You can see we've got a few names in double-digit red percentages, APE and APT and OMG, and a whole bunch of names are red 4 to 8%. And we've got Bitcoin in a clear downtrend on a good number of time frames now. So there is a scenario where we've been watching the potential for this falling wedge over the last couple of weeks and still keeping an eye on it. Wherever you draw the anchor from, you could draw it down here. We'll see where we close this candle, but this is what this potential falling wedge looks like. But I'm not looking bullish into weakness in the crypto space. Doesn't mean we won't bounce. There's going to be bounces along the way, absolutely. And right now we're seeing a super stack just as far as a bunch of the shorter term time frames getting oversold. But the reason I'm not looking for bounces is because right now the NASDAQ hit 52-week highs today. It's consolidating on the hourly right now, but a new 52-week high in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And here is Bitcoin hitting the lowest level in almost 3 months. We are relatively weaker than we've been compared to the NASDAQ. We're the weakest we've been in 3 months. So there is significant weakness in the face of an extremely strong stock market. And we know that the NASDAQ is due for weekly consolidation. It's going to be inevitable. And we could say Bitcoin is not positioned well at all if we do see weekly consolidation in the stock market. So for me, I'm in a scenario where if I'm going to play bullish crypto, I need the bulls to prove to me that I should be trading bullish. And Bitcoin has not done that in over a month. Bitcoin had a big enough bounce to scout the daily high or low, and we did get that over the weekend, but zero follow through. That really was the only point. The only time I was even tempted to look long in Bitcoin was looking for a higher low there, and didn't end up pulling the trigger on anything, waited to start the week, and glad that I did so. But it's been bear, weak bounce, EMA 12, nothing. All right, big bounce. You got my attention now. Gotta close this, get rid of all these alerts. So bulls got my attention with that bounce, but they didn't follow through in any way. Did not confirm the daily uptrend. So bears are still very comfy here. And with the break of 25.8, what's the next support level that we're looking at? I'm looking down at 23.9 as the next level. So psychological 25,000 will be the next level to be keeping an eye on. Some previous resistance, 25.3. But again, just very comfy bears. I don't have any bear positions, but I know that if I were bearish in crypto right now, I would be really comfortable. I was watching Bitcoin for a potential 2-week higher low. Still back testing these EMAs. If it's a daily falling wedge that we just looked at, then we will hold these levels. But that pretty much means the bulls need to show up for the rest of the week if that daily falling wedge is going to be on the table as a possibility. So again, just for me personally, knowing that I'm not trying to nail bottoms, I am sitting back and just being very patient. And I'm watching the crypto stocks trading sideways still. MARA heading down towards support. Riot testing support today. Still range bound, but after the resistance rejection on Friday, now we are testing support. I was a bit surprised at the amount of bear control that we saw on Riot Friday. Now it makes a little bit more sense. Perhaps somebody knew something. But bears have control of the short term. So we are oversold on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin. The RSI did dip down in the teens. Hourly RSI in the teens. 15-minute did break the stair step finally. But again, there's no V-shaped bounce here. And I love when things get extended to look for a bit of a significant bounce to take place. But we're not seeing that right now. Just set a new resistance level at 25.8. Not surprising why we topped out there. That was our previous support. Now it's acting as resistance. And so again, we're anticipating we're going to get a short-term oversold bounce sooner rather than later to cool off hourly and 4-hour RSI. But what is happening is this weakness happened, and now stocks are consolidating on the hourly for the past couple of hours, and that's adding a little bit of downward pressure as well. Or at least it's not helping the bounce. We can say that much. So still weak. I would say, if we flush this low 25.4, then I'm going to play a short-term day trade bounce. Because then we would be extreme enough for me to say, all right, I'm looking for a bounce from here. But otherwise, again, I need to, confirm a daily uptrend for me. And then I'll start getting interested bullish in crypto again. So I'm just a picky bull at this point in time. And I have no interest entering into weakness. Again, I know there will be trades, there will be bounces, but if I want the probabilities in my favor, if I want a high win rate as a trader, I want to be trading with trends. And Bitcoin is in a clear weekly, daily, 4-hour, hourly, 15-minute downtrend right now. So I'm going to remain patient. Dominance chart continues to pull back the weekly time frame, rejecting from our long-term resistance and breaking one level. And now we're looking down at 46.77 to see if that second level is able to break and potentially shape up monthly consolidation in the dominance chart, which it's already underway at this point. And so what that is telling us is Bitcoin dropped a little bit faster than altcoins on this pullback. ETH, daily downtrend confirmed. If we break 1737, that confirms a daily and a weekly downtrend. We're already in a little weekly downtrend, but that would be another lower high, which is now set, 1929. And so watching that 1737 support closely. And again, the biggest concern that a Bitcoin bull needs to have is that this is a 4-month bear flag. It's going to take a while to play out. It might take the rest of the year. But if we do not break 31,000, this is a 4-month bear flag. So got to get over 31,000 to decrease the probabilities here. So ETH, same thing. We're crushed on the short term. 4-hour long lower wick. Volume climax trying to shape up. We can see the bounce is going much better for Ethereum than it is for Bitcoin right now. So base of support. Set a 15-minute lower high at 1819. Have to hold 1803 and break 1819 for us to then zoom out. Remember the zoom out game? One time frame at a time. All right, we've got a 15-minute bounce underway. Zoom out, or I should say a 5-minute bounce underway. Zoom out to the 15-minute. All right, I see what is needed to confirm a 15-minute uptrend. If that happens, zoom out, scout an hourly lower high, watching hourly EMA 12. Then we've got to confirm an hourly uptrend. If that happens, zoom out, scout a 4-hour lower high, watching EMA 12 resistance. Then we've got to confirm a 4-hour trend change. If that happens, zoom out, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. One time frame at a time. That's how we play these bounces. But the bulls have proven to do. ETH BTC, daily bull flag confirmed. Because again, we are seeing a better bounce right now out of ETH versus BTC. And so we're watching this weekly resistance still. If we break 709, that confirms a weekly uptrend for the first time in a while. And we have a new daily support level right off EMA 12 for the daily uptrend to be our guide on the ETH BTC pairing. Litecoin, weekly lower high set. That was the most likely scenario. Why? Because we've got an equilibrium with a very wide range. So now we've got a new lower high set at 97.53. And now the bulls are looking for a higher low compared to 75.32. Daily chart has not confirmed a downtrend yet. So bears have to confirm a lower high and lower low if they're going to gain confidence. But I still love the weekly clarity here as we continue to tighten up And all I care about long-term on Litecoin, 75.32 support, 97.53 resistance. If neither of those levels are breaking, nothing is changing. Got to break one of those two levels for this equilibrium to break. RNDR was watching for bulls to try and take or keep control, but big flush down, daily downtrend confirmed, weekly consolidation underway, inside bar bear breaks. It was fast and hard, but that inside bar bear break was at 242, and we flushed down a quick 5%. Again, still trying to get that bounce going like everything else. 15-minute EMA 12 resistance, scouting an hourly lower high. Looks like it might be shaping up for RNDR. Bulls need to then confirm an hourly trend change, and then we'll zoom out to the 4-hour. It's a decent bounce. It's definitely a better bounce than both BTC and ETH. We did bounce 10% there. But you got to be real quick, because by the time we flush down there, between this 10-minute window, already 10% of the bounce has taken place. So one of the better bounces on RNDR, looking for an hourly higher low to be the result of consolidation. Sol, another name we've been keeping an eye on, and giving back the entirety of that bounce. Bulls worked so hard for a week plus, and we just flushed right back down to support. Granted, support held, but weekly lower high is set, 2230. Where everything just topped out, whether it was yesterday or today or wherever, that's now a key resistance level. Sol, if we're going to set a monthly higher low in this equilibrium, we've got to hold 1866 and break 2230. If we fail to do that, we are not setting a monthly higher low. So same thing on the bounce. Sideways on the 15-minute, has to break bull. Then we look for an hourly lower high. Have to confirm an hourly trend change. One step at a time. And Bitcoin is still struggling to get any kind of bounce going at this point. So bears are going to be waiting. At this point in time, a bear is going to be scouting an hourly lower high if they're aggressive. If they're a little bit patient, they're going to be scouting a 4-hour lower high. If they're a bit more patient, they're going to scout a daily lower high. But the trend is with the bears. And they are comfortable. Another narrative that's born with this headline is, see, Fat Bear requesting DYDX. So DYDX, decentralized exchanges, have a bull narrative coming out of this. Because if the SEC goes after Binance and Coinbase and says you can't list these things, well, there's only one place that they're going to be able to trade in the US, and that's decentralized exchanges. And so DYDX initially had a bear reaction, but then V-shape, and then it was just all over the place. But certainly much more bullish a reaction than bearish. It's looking for an hourly higher low, where everything else is looking for an hourly lower high. So narratives are useful to pay attention to. Obviously, I'm a technical trader. I care way more about the charts and price levels, but you get these narratives that are born. Bitcoin and the regional bank situation. That was a narrative that allowed for trading. There was a 3-week window where the majority of my usefulness with regards to crypto was posting about regional bank news because of how that pattern played out. And that pattern is now gone. But being aware of the narrative is nice because now we can say, all right, the market is now trained. The next time we get an SEC headline, whether it's an SEC, letter to Coinbase, whatever it is, bulls are going to look to jump in DYDX. So it's important to be aware of the narratives just because, and then, with the narratives, it's still using price levels to manage our risk and place our stop levels and determine whether it's a worthwhile trade. So it's not like that stuff goes out the window. It's just the narrative can be a little piece of the puzzle that helps pinpoint entries. Appreciate the calls to smash the like buttons. Definitely more viewers than Friday. Fear brings everybody out. Two-week head and shoulders on Bitcoin. That's a possible scenario. The more we pull back, the more space. I'd still want to see another leg down if I'm going to call that a head and shoulders. They're looking at the left shoulder, the head. I'd want to see one more push down to then be scouting a 2-week lower high to be the result of the next bounce. And if we were to confirm a 2-week downtrend, that would probably be that 4-month lower high being set. But at this point in time, bulls still can save these EMAs. I would want to see those EMAs lost if that head and shoulders type of pattern was going to gain a significant probability of being what would take place. So DYDX, let's look a little bit better. I didn't do a great job. So we got the narrative on DYDX. What do we need from here? So weekly bounces underway. But anything under 320 is a weekly lower high. And again, it's important to visualize and look at percentages and say, okay, we can go 50%, 40%, and still be in a weekly lower high scenario. So the bulls have a ton of work to do. We've got to negate this as a weekly bear flag. What does that mean? We need a retracement of 50% plus on a bounce, which means the bulls need to get to at least 250 plus. So we need another 15% if we're going to be looking to try and negate a weekly bear flag. The simple statement is, if we can't get over weekly EMA 12, which we just rejected from, it's a bear flag. Got to get over that level. And from the daily perspective, we got the wicks and the volatility and the volume. 226 and 227 here, a little bit of a double top. And bulls need to confirm an hourly uptrend to confirm that they have control. Nice pop, but if you're going to keep that control, you've got to confirm that hourly uptrend. So if Bitcoin breaks this level, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to buy Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin breaks 25.4, I would likely buy ETH. And the reason I would choose ETH or any alt that's showing relative strength, just anticipating that a Bitcoin bear break from here would not get much follow through. You'd flush out anybody that tried to play this bounce and stuck their stop right under the low. And then I believe that we would get the hourly bounce taking place from there. So I would be watching, I will be watching, I mean, maybe even RNDR for an hourly high or low. So in an ideal world, Bitcoin breaks that support with no follow through. RNDR drops down to 237 or whatever, sets an hourly high or low. Bitcoin gets the hourly bounce going. RNDR heads back up to the high of its bounce. So let's see if we sweep the leg and sweep the lows. Riot is showing relative strength to MARA on this bounce. Riot is still over 2% above its low. MARA hit a fresh low since then. Does the 30-minute time frame set the highs and lows of the 12-hour? Sometimes yes, for sure. It varies. Sometimes it's the hourly. It's not a clear every time scenario. And none of them are every time scenario. All of them are most often. But I haven't played around with the 30-minute and the 12-hour to know how often that plays out. I do use the hourly with the 12-hour in crypto. So for me, it's the hourly for the 12-hour. And this is where stocks and crypto are different. So Felipe, you just said hourly oversold marks the daily high or low in stocks. Stocks trade 6.5 hours of the day. A daily candle in stocks is 6.5 hours. So 1 hour on a daily candle in stocks is 6.5. 1 hour in a crypto daily candle is 1/24. It's a quarter as much. There is essentially 4 times as much time in a daily candle for crypto, which is why I use the 4 hour in crypto. So stick with this math. 4 hour time frame out of a 24-hour candle is 1/6. 1 hour candle out of a 6.5 hour day, 1/6.5. They're very close to aligning, which is why I use the hourly for stocks, and the 4-hour for crypto and anything else that trades long hours, commodities, futures, things like that. It's your math lesson for the day. Fractions. I played an MARA little bounce. Nothing significant. I was scaling in a little bit to this weakness. Smaller position sizes because it was a news event. And then I was out fairly quickly. It was a little win. Overall, a fairly uneventful trade. But again, it's just the bears proving to us they have control. I mean, we were in a scenario into this weekend saying, all right, bulls, prove to us that you can regain some control and try and catch up to the stock market's strength. And they didn't. They just did the exact opposite. I mean, today is the worst case scenario for a Bitcoin bull that had a position, obviously. We set the daily high or low, and rather than heading back to the bounce high, we confirmed a daily downtrend and broke to the lowest level in months. So again, we've got to analyze things with an unbiased mindset. If I want Bitcoin to go up, I might look at this and say, oh, well, it's all right. We're not breaking by much or whatever. No, call it like it is. This is the Bitcoin bears have full control, and this is best case scenario for them. And that'll change eventually, but not as long as we're in a daily downtrend. So again, these simple statements that we can make can help our trading. I will not look long crypto as long as Bitcoin's in a daily downtrend. That might mean you're bored for a while. Maybe it's less exciting, but it's going to put probabilities in your favor of playing with trends. Keep it real. Big drop on the NASDAQ. Another flush down. Daily consolidation is shaping up in the broader markets. Upper wick on today's candle. SPY shaping up for daily consolidation. So what happens to Bitcoin if we get daily consolidation for the next 2 days in stocks? I don't know, but can't be bullish. Dollar is still, well, the dollar might be giving us the 12-hour lower high. If the dollar needs to confirm a 12-hour downtrend here to shape up a weekly lower high. That's something that the Bitcoin bulls definitely want to see. So keep an eye on the dollar 12-hour. Also for the metals. Metals bouncing. Yeah, I should have grabbed some miners. Ooh, double bottom. Am I using Fibos sometime? I use Fibonacci's to measure retracement sizes to determine if something is a flag or if an equilibrium is more likely. And I got a whole video about that if you Google ChartGuys Fibonacci. All right. I appreciate you all tuning in. I've got to live stream the stock market here at the end of the day in a bit. Thanks again for the likes. 17 more to get back up to 100. Again, just one time frame at a time. Keep it simple. Daily downtrend. We're going to look for an hourly and a 4-hour lower high to be the result of the next bounces. Bears are going to be waiting for them. And we can use reverse backburners. Watch for first 15-minute overbought conditions scouting a 4-hour lower high. 5-minute overbought scouting an hourly lower high. Backburners definitely work in trending bear markets as well. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks again. And do good things.